How's it going? This is Ellen Marie Francisco. I thought we'd do our pick a card this week. We're going to choose 4 cards today. Okay, so we have card number 1, card number 2, card number 3, card number 4. All right, our first card today is the Tower. So this card, whenever I see this, my first question is, are you moving? Because the ground below you certainly wants to. So when it comes to Tower, you may be working with extreme energies, lots of change, abrupt changes, maybe changes that you didn't want, that you didn't plan, that you've been resistant to. So they will happen to you, a lot of these kinds of changes. It won't be like, hey, I'm going to move, and it's my idea. No, it's going to be like, my landlord's moving back. I've got 3 days kind of a thing, right? So the energy is a little more intense when it comes in with the Tower. The other thing that this can also indicate is that you're about to have a spiritual awakening and that there is a lot of spiritual information coming towards you, and you may have to be clearing out your emotional and mental resistances and your psychological resistances as well. So if this card is the one that you chose, be willing to go with the flow this week. Be willing to embrace change. We are supposed to change a lot in our lives. You know what I mean? As much as people like to kind of have the same old, it's not always going to work for you from an energetic standpoint, and it's not always going to be the best way to embrace the world. Okay, so if you do have Tower, I would also recommend that if you are not already working with your intuition, that you lovingly embrace that, even if you don't totally understand it and if it doesn't always make sense. So you may have to accept concepts that you're not quite ready to, and you may be being asked to widen your perspectives and keep an open mind. Okay. Our second card this week is Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands, the hand of God coming out of the clouds. This can be also a divine inspiration. If you're an artist, you might have suddenly these flashes of brilliance this week. You may be instantly inspired to work with the energies that are coming to you. You may have more energy than you thought you could even muster up for a project. So be aware that if you're getting the Ace of Wands, that this card also can denote some kind of a change, some kind of thing just sort of coming in on a silver platter and dropping in your lap. A lot of times, people will narrow their ability to manifest because they won't be open to the fact that the universe is always giving, right? The universe is a giving universe. It will give you whatever you want. It'll give you whatever you need. Now, if your needs and your wants aren't aligned, and your wants aren't aligned with the wants of your own higher self and your own spirit, then there may be some slowdowns in how quickly you manifest things, right? Because you're running off in 2 different directions trying to get something. So you may be forced in a way to suspend your own ideas of what you want and be willing to figure out, well, what does God force want of me? What does my higher self want to me? What do the energies that are, always got my highest good in mind? What are they trying to tell me? What are they trying to show me? Am I open? Am I a channel as well? Am I willing to be, divinely moved into action? If this were a divining rod, are you willing to be the divining rod? Or are you going to just push it off and go, I'm good, I'll stay small, I don't need your help, right? So this, I think, is going to be a good time to allow your creative spirit, allow your higher higher self to speak through you. Be willing to listen, be willing as well to accept that sometimes the plan that God has for us is way better than the one that we could have figured out for ourselves. Okay, I see it all the time. So be willing to keep an open mind and be willing to be inspired. All right, our third card today for this coming week is Temperance. Now, Temperance works with balancing earth energies and heaven energies and the forces that are working within you. Temperance is always trying to find balance rather than being polarized in one direction. So this would be a good time as well to take a chill pill. Don't be moving too quickly. Temperance, you know what I mean? It's not a race, it's a walk, basically. So you may also be trying to balance out your emotional body in a way that it actually serves you rather than dismantles you. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us are at our emotional wits' ends in a lot of ways because of the influences of the world right now. So just go slow, go with the flow, be willing to be patient. Temperance, sometimes, you've got to work with just balance. What's your own balance? Where is your balance point within you? Are you willing to turn inward and work with your own divine energies? I'm trying to think of what else Temperance wants to tell us this week. So if you feel that you're coming into this week imbalanced and you've picked this card, then I would be asking the question, where is my balance? Is it in saying no to people? Is it by eliminating extra responsibilities? Is it in getting the rest that I need? This could be the card where you kind of need to regroup your energies a little bit before you do too much more with them. So this would not be the week to be focusing outward on other people. This would be the week where you're sort of more internalized and working with your own energies. And you know what I mean? Like, don't push through your fatigue. Don't push through your anger. Don't push through anything that you're not ready to work with. Okay. It's better to step back, take a breath, relax, and let the energies present themselves in a better way to work with. And our fourth card this week is the Knight of Wands. Now, this guy, things could be going very quickly, change coming, lots of things happening, lightning speed. You may feel like as much as things are moving slowly, they're moving quickly. And what do I do with all of this energy? How do I put it into focus? How do I work with it? How do I move through it? You might also, this, a lot of times when I see this card, I call this the, oh gosh, I've drawn a blank on what I call this guy. This is kind of the guy who will tell you stories just to make you feel better. These are the guys who are willing to tell you lies to your face. People who are lying to themselves think they're telling you the truth. So you may have to be using your own intuitive skills to be sorting out the truths this week, okay? And you have your own truth. And it's usually pretty unfailing. And it's usually a combination of, your own divine energies working with your, more sort of dense human energies. Um, so don't get carried away this week with messaging that doesn't feel right. Okay. If something doesn't feel right to you on the inside, it isn't. Okay. So I would not be swallowing the information that they're giving you without any discernment. Okay. Pick what you're allowing to come into your mind and eliminate the things that don't feel right to you. It would be good to avoid difficult personalities during this week, and it would be very good to avoid the people who seem to want to suck you dry. Okay, because this guy is willing to kind of ride into town, take everything you've got, and hit the road again. So I think in this particular week, I'm feeling that this is like a caution card. Okay, so it all sounds good on the surface. You know what I mean? On first pass, you might be willing to accept it. But if there is anything hitting you this week is getting your spidey sense working, or your own, prickly pear, listen to that. Okay. I think most of humanity has to work with whether they can figure out a truth or a lie based on something somebody says, like from the energetics of it. And sometimes accepting things on face value can be very detrimentally unfavorable. So just be cautious, quick fixes, things like that. Yeah. Sometimes our problems are not a quick fix. Okay. Sometimes our problems need to be worked through slowly while sitting down, not by riding a wild horse. Okay. So be very careful what you're grabbing onto this week if you've got this card, because it's a bit of a slippery slope. Okay. So go careful with yourself. And as a bonus card, we're going to pull one more. We're going to see what else is coming up. Okay. Oh, of course. Judgment. Now, this is an interesting card because, sometimes it comes up when people are worried about their own existential realities. Am I here? Am I there? Some people are piercing the veil and living here anyway. They're in between both worlds, not quite in one, not quite in the other. So that can be a little disconcerting at times, but it can also be very freeing, because if you can, it's a very troubling world right now. So if there's a way that you can kind of reach your higher realm energies by working with your own third eye and meditating, or working with other visualization techniques to help you, culminate some of the information you need, don't be afraid to kind of, reach. This could also mean that, judgments are, in their most literal sense, that can be very limiting. I also think that this is an indication that there are a lot of people that just really want out of this world right now, right? So please try not to get too hopeless this week about the external energies. And please understand that there are higher forces at play all the time that are working for the benefit of humanity, whether the casual observer might not agree. There's a lot going on behind the surface, way up there, that's affecting what's going on here. So it is a bit of a spiritual war, that we're going through, and your ability to surrender to the fact that things are not going to work out in the short term, and that some patience is going to be needed for the long term, as well as don't be afraid to invoke your own angelic realm of help. Don't be afraid to invoke your own higher self to give you help with this week. And don't be afraid to invoke your own ancestors and spirit guides, okay? Because they really are a breath away from helping you. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling like, where do we go from here? And how do we get out of this mess? Just focus on what you need for yourself, because if everyone does the best that they can with their own internal energies and their own internal forces, then we're a major force to be reckoned with. Okay, so sometimes things need to get very messy before they get clear again. And I think we're in this, unfortunate phase of just having to live with the acceptance that it's not the best case scenario, but suspend your own judgments. You know what I mean? Unless you're getting, true psychic hits and there's nothing to debate, then, obviously you're going to have to listen to that as well. But don't trust your mind to give you the reasoning that's necessary to get you through this either, right? Like sometimes you've got to bypass what your limited mind wants to do. And you've got to kind of reach up into your higher mind. So you may need to work on building a better faith-based relationship with your own internal forces. Okay, so there you have it. I hope you are managing well. I know it's been hard and unusual and depressing and infuriating. Okay, so, but if we didn't feel the negative impact of this, we wouldn't necessarily see what we need to do to improve our own circumstances. So some of that pain is necessary to create the motivation to do the necessary work. So I hope that's helped you. I hope that's given you a little bit of a boost on this evening. And just do the best you can, okay? And sometimes doing the best you can is doing nothing at all. And don't be afraid of that either, okay? And if you need some extra help, you know how to reach me. Reach out through my social media or through my YouTube, okay? And may the force be with you. Love you much. Take good care for now. Hang in there, right?